श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः Okay. Go ahead, Vijay ji.
Yeah.
Chant from number 30. अपरे नियताहाराः
अपरे नियताहारा
प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति
प्राणा प्राणेषु जुह्वति
सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदः
सर्वेप्येते विदो ओके विदाः
यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः
यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजः
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजः
यान्ति ब्रह्मसनातनम्
यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
नायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य
नायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य
कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सत्तम
कुतोऽन्य कुरु सत्तम
एवं बहुविधा यज्ञाः
एवं बहुविधा यज्ञाः
वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे
वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे
कर्मजान् विद्धितान् सर्वान्
कर्मजान् विदितान् सर्वान्
एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे
एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे
श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयात् यज्ञात्
श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयाद् यज्ञात्
ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप
ज्ञानयज्ञ परन्तप
सर्वं कर्माखिलं partha
Sarvam karmaakhilam partha
jnane parisamapyate
jnane parisamapyate
tadvidhi pranipatena
tadvidhi pranipatena
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः
ज्ञानी ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः
Yeah. So number 34 is what we were looking at last time. So from 25 onwards, Daiva Meva Pare Yajna. Sri Krishna was enumerating various yajnas and then concluded in 33 that the Jnana Yajna is the most, for lack of a better word, Shreyan, most relevant, superior. Others are also relevant for Antakarana Shuddhi, but for Jnanam, Jnana Yajna alone is appropriate. He said that. And then in 34, which is the verse we started looking at last time, he is going to now say, how do you get that knowledge? Okay, how? Okay, now that knowledge is understood to be superior, how do you get it? So essentially validating Arjuna's request, Shishyasteham Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam. I want to be your student. So essentially validating that, he's going to say that you have to learn from a teacher. That is the purport of this shloka. Okay. So last time we were telling why this study of this shastram is unique, and we said that every other piece of knowledge we have learned in our life and will learn going forward is going to be about the world. It's going to be about anatma. Anatma. So now we can use the word anatma because we know a little bit atma anatma. So everything I say I know is about anatma only. So paranchikani vyatirinat swayambhu. Therefore, somebody is unmuted, I think. Yeah, Vijay, go ahead and mute yourself. So paranchikani vyatirinat swayambhu. So those our setup is like this. This body and mind is set up to look outward, and quietly Atma is sitting inside, and there's no way. These our sense organs, our highly accomplished intellect cannot access the Atma. And so that is the uniqueness of the Shastram is when somebody recognizes that I want to know myself. I know everything in this world. I have the capacity to know everything in this world. But one thing I don't know anything about is Atma. So that is why the Shastram is important. And he's going to talk about the Guru also. That person is a Guru, and therefore this teaching tradition becomes very unique. And it's not a preaching tradition, it's a teaching tradition. We'll see all that. Okay. So Jnana Yajna. So he's explaining that Jnana Yajna once again. And every yajna has, you have to do something or the other, no doubt about that. So there are things to be done. You need varieties of things. Whatever action you do, you need things, and you have a goal in mind. And yajna, of course, religious fire ritual yajna. Of course, we need many things. We need people. We need panditas who know the mantras. And if I know, I can chant it. If I don't, then I have to rely on somebody else. So in a yajna, you need four people are needed. Why four? Because there are four Vedas. So who are these people? Yeah, Rigvedi is called Advaryu. Then Yajurvedi is called a Hota. And then Samavedi, Udghata, and then Atharva Vedi, Brahma. These are the technical words they use, Brahma. So I remember all this. How did I learn this? Because many years ago, we used to, I told you, I used to go around with our Vedic Pandits, and they used to do all this homas and Upanayanam and all that. So, and Tarpanam also. So once somebody called me and said, I want you to be in the position of Brahma. Okay, could you accept my request? I said, I'll be happy to do that. I just don't know what mantras to chant. Don't worry, we'll take care of that. Okay. So these are the four people needed. So who are they? Uh, Adhvaryu, Hota, Udghatru or Udghata, and Brahma. So like this, we need so many things to accomplish anything we want to accomplish. And here also, Krishna is going to say, what are the things needed for this Jnana Yajna to be done? And fortunately, he doesn't list so many things like you must be married, you must have children, you must have accomplished, this and that. You must have worked in a multinational corporation. All these things he doesn't list, fortunately, and so doesn't matter. Married, unmarried doesn't matter, and male, female doesn't matter, and literate, illiterate. They're all we have some definitions for literacy and all that. Doesn't matter, and so we know the Adhikaritvam we've seen before, Vivekam, Vairagyam, etc. is there. So here he's going to say it a little differently. So since this is knowledge to be gained, two things are needed. What two people are needed, obviously. So somebody has to teach, and there must be somebody who wants to learn. These are only two things that are there. So the teacher must be proper, and the student must also be proper. And what is the meaning of this proper student and proper teacher? That is what this shloka is going to tell us. So let's see. He's going to say three things. Pranipata is going to mention, he said Pranipata, then Pariprashna and Seva. These are the three words he's used to elaborate on what the to indicate what the student should have, what qualities the student should have. Okay, let's look at these things one by one. Okay, so in the uh, okay, Pranipata. Pranipata means what? It's a it's an act of prostration. It's an act of saying, I have come to you to study. That attitude is there. And it's an attitude of vinaya, humility, and exemplified by this, physicalized by this namaskara. Many ways, namaste, the bowing down, all these things are all, these are all expressions of saying, I've surrendered to you. I've come to you to study. So he says, keep all your accomplishments away. So, oh, I've done this, I've done that, and I've flown many countries. I know 10 languages, even Chinese I know. I've set up companies in China, and and of course I have a large family. I do this and that. I do all my rituals properly, everything. Okay, and I've served the community. This that great. So why are you here then? Why don't you continue to do that? Why are you standing in front of me? What's the why are you? Why have you come here? I can't help you with any of the things you have said. So why are you here? So therefore, I'm going to keep all of that aside. I've done a lot of things, but one thing I've not done is this telisite mokshamo teliyakunna bandhamu and Brahma Mokate I've heard, and everybody is singing this. That these days Shankara TV, all these children are singing, small kutti kutti, all children they record their videos at home, and then 2 minutes 3 minutes they're all singing, and all these judges are also commenting on them, and it's so nice to see. And this Brahma Mokate, they are saying, And I don't know what this Brahma Mukti is. I don't know what is this Brahma. I want to know that. Okay. Okay, fine. That's so therefore namaskara. Then Shashtanga Namaskara, like this many Namaskaras. Then Shashtanga Namaskara. So how many of you have heard of this phrase, Shashtanga Namaskara? Yeah, many of you have heard, almost all of us have heard. Yeah, Ashtanga Namaskara. Ashtanga. So not Ashtanga Yoga. Don't bring Ashtanga here, okay? So one who has studied Ashtanga Yoga and then does Namaskara is called Shashtanga Namaskara. No, no, that's not correct. What are the 8 angas? What are the 8 angas? So, um, Padbhyam Karabhyam. Padbhyam, 2 feet. Karabhyam, 2 hands. Janubhyam, 2 knees. Padbhyam, Karabhyam, Janubhyam. Feet, hands, knees. Then Shirasa, head. Urasa, chest. And then Drisha, the rest of the body, trunk. Shirasa, Urasa, Drisha. Then Vachasa, Manatsa, Chaiva. The organ of speech. Vachasa, Manasa. Manasa, by the mind. Did we count 8 yet? Feet, Padbhyam, Karabhyam, Janubhyam. Feet, hands, and knees. Okay, then what? Shirasa, Urasa, Drisha. 6. Head, chest, and trunk. Correct? 6. Then Vachasa, Manasa. By the organ of speech and the mind. I surrender all these things to you. I prostrate. This is a Ashtanga Namaskar. So, Vachasa also. I'm a good speaker. I've done a lot of PowerPoint presentations. I've given lectures to CEOs and all that. But then none of this I know will work. And I need to know more. So I'll keep my mouth shut for a change. I've been lecturing to lots of people. But now I am ready to listen. That is Pranipata. Look at that. Pranipatena. So, Pranipatena, by this attitude where I I surrender my ego. Because if I allow my ego, it will just take off. But I recognized that all these accomplishments are meant for something. It is meant for Antakarana Shuddhi. And I whatever I've accomplished, it has served the purpose. And now I'm here in front of you. Please teach me. So that is the attitude. And so this is where there is a student in a Veda Padashala. So he was sent, 6 years, 7 years, the child goes to Veda Padashala and then studies for so many years, 10 years, 12 years. And only by the time 16, 17, 18, he returns back home. Returns back home. And by then he has studied all the Vedas, he studied all the agamas, all the Vyakaranam, Shiksha, Kalpa, how to do rituals, everything. This man is an expert, just newly graduated, comes home, and the father is happy to receive the son, and but the father finds that this guy's walking style is different, and he's just walking like this, like this. As though he's accomplished, he's accomplished, no doubt, but he's not listening at all. And he says, you don't know this, I'll come later. This, hey, what happened to this boy? And he was quite all right when he left. And now we expected a little better of him. And father understood the problem. Yeah, I know a lot. And even father has forgotten a lot, but now I know all those things. Okay, so I'm better than the father also. So this guy, father understood the problem. So the father, dinner time, and the father wanted a glass of water. So he said, okay, keep pouring water until I ask you to stop. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. So he held a glass of water, and sun started pouring, and the cup got filled, and the son is watching the father. Father kept quiet, and then kept pouring. Water is pouring down the glass. Water is pouring down the glass, and after a while, the son couldn't stand it. The whole jug, it's all pouring down. And son says, "Dad, don't you know? Don't you know if the glass is full, it can't take any more water?" And the father looked at the son, and then the son got the message. If I think I have it all, then there's no more. Nothing else is going to enter here. And so that message he wanted to give. So this attitude we have to let go, thinking that I've done so much and I've studied so much, this and that will not work here. Elsewhere it might work. Even elsewhere it won't work. Even at work and other places, nobody wants to. This kind of attitude nobody likes. It doesn't matter how big of a person you are. And so you hear all this very interesting, all these divorces you hear in newspaper. This Bill Gates, I think, got divorced recently. Jeff Bezos, I saw some news, and you wonder what happened. And of course, there's always a reason, uh, but we don't know. We don't know how life is out there, and yet we see so many cases where it's the attitude that's the problem. If accomplishment is what is needed for a successful life, everybody would be happily married and happy lives would be very happy. But it's not like that. So here, pranipata, I surrender to you, and so that attitude, I'm willing to let go of my ego, let go of my ego. And so our culture, we have this very interesting. This namaskara is there. Namaskara, we used to do namaskara whenever we visit our relatives also. And the parents will say, tell children, come on, do namaskaram to your aunt and uncle. Attai, Atimar, namaskaram mandi. So before leaving, we would do namaskaram and then leave home. Leave there. We always do that. That tradition used to be there. So, so that's a good, very good thing to have. So if nothing, you are older than me. Therefore, you deserve my namaskaras, and I deserve your blessings. Correct? That's enough. That is the good reason to do namaskara. Nothing else. And so that is called pranipata. That attitude is being mentioned, indicated here, the vinaya attitude of humility, that there is still much left for me to learn. That expression, physicalized by this namaskara, is called pranipata. Because attitude, nobody knows what the attitude of a person is. So when we do namaskara, that tells everybody, yes, yes, I accept. I consider you to be. I respect you, and so that attitude shows in this act of namaskara. Then next, look at that. He's doing what? Pranipatena pariprashnena. Pranipatena tritiya. By the act of pranipata, by the attitude of pranipata, and then by pariprashna, by pariprashna. So the second quality Krishna is saying is by asking the right questions. That's what he says. Asking the right questions. Asking the right questions means what? I mean, we know how to ask questions. We are from young age, the child asks questions to parents and all that. So we are very good at asking questions. We may not know how to answer, but at least question asking, we are good at. At least Indian children a little bit shy. But you go to America, my God, these kids will just keep asking questions. So one Bhagavad Gita class. So I was coordinating that. This is in Clear Lake, and many people are there. We're all reading Swamiji's notes and all that. And then this one boy was there. So hardly 8 years. He's sitting next to mom and then writing notes. Okay, he doesn't, whether he understands or not, we don't know. And then at the end of the class, he's asking a question. Uncle, I have a question. Like that, he's asking. So yeah, sure, ask. So very nice. So in India and America, it's like that, little different. So the children are unafraid of asking questions to anybody, and that's beautiful. I like that very much. And so here, asking appropriate questions. Swami Paramathananda says, when people meet a Swamiji, a sannyasi, they go to an ashram or go and meet a Swamiji, what question they ask? Typically, he says, they come and ask, my third son is getting married, so please bless him. And some litigation is going on. Please bless us so we win this litigation. Okay. And I'm not getting a promotion. And could you please bless me? This is the kind of questions they ask. I think wrong, but this is how it is. Life is like this. These are our main concerns. Nobody goes to Swamiji and says, I want to study Vedanta, Swamiji. I've heard so much about it. Even in America, they are studying. I think in India, we must study this. So nobody asks this question to sannyasis. It's all about this kind of big people are waiting and they're all asking all these questions. I think not. A sannyasi can handle all this. And Swamiji has to say, somebody, hey, all of you have been asking me all these questions. Now I have a headache. So I need some help. Okay, like that, they should also ask, I think. But so Swamiji says this is the question people ask. But then in Kenopanishad, the student, the the first verse begins with a question from the student. Kene shitam padati preshitam manaha. Kena prana pratamah praiti yuktaha. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti shrotram kau shrotram chakshu kau devo yunakti. He's asking the question. This mind, is there somebody behind this mind? Tell me that. Oh teacher, you tell me this. Kene shitam padati preshitam manaha. So like that. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. Is there somebody behind me who's making me say all these things? Like that, he's asking the question. So question, constantly. And of course, Bhagavad Gita, we got introduced to this Shastram now. It's all Q&A only. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. Arjuna is asking the question. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. Samadhistasya keshava. Sthitadi kim prabhasheta. Kim asita vrajeta kim. The third chapter again is asking the question. Arjuna uvacha. Jayasi chet karmanaste. Mata buddhir janardana. So, constant, Q&A constant. Every chapter. If it were not for Arjuna's question, Gita would have ended long ago, or there may not have been a Gita also. So, it's very clear. This Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Samvade. Samvada means a Q&A with a purpose, with an intention to understand. One person knows, another person wants to know. So, that is that pariprashnena. That is being indicated here because there is something to know here, not something to believe. Something to believe, really, you don't have any question. You can only ask, should I believe this person? Yes, you should believe the person. That's all over. After that, what can you say? You have to decide whether to believe or not. That's all. No questions asked because there is no logic. Logic stops after that. There is no more logic. So because this is jnana prapti, jnanam is unique, and doubts will be there, and so it has to be clarified, and appropriate questions at the right time we ask, and this is pariprashna. So in Viveka Chudamani, and again, question. The student is asking the question. He's saying, Ko nama bandaha. What is this bondage? Can you explain to me, Guruji? What is bandaha? What is bondage? Huh? And then, Katamesha agataha. How did I become bound like this? What is the cause of all this so-called bondage? Bandha. Bandh ka karan kya hai? Okay. And then what? Katam pratishtasya. Katam vimokshaha. How did it get stuck to me like this? And what is the way to get moksha out of this? What is moksha? Katam vimokshaha. And then Ko asau anatma. What is this anatma and paramahka atma? What is this atma? Tell me a little more about atma and anatma. I've heard so much about it. Tayor vivekaha katham etad uchyatam. Uchyatam, he says, please teach me. Request is made. So the student is very clear. I want to know these things. Sometimes we may not know what to ask. That is always there, no doubt about that. So that's okay. So we Shravanam, after hearing more, then we get more questions. Then clarity develops, slowly clarity develops. And then we continue to ask those questions. So pariprashnena, respectfully ask those questions. And Krishna did not say, I am God. I am God, he didn't say anywhere. I am God, therefore you must not. You have to accept whatever I say. He didn't say that. I mean, he did say in chapter 4, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. So I am the one who taught Vivaswan, he said. So there itself, we put one big bouncer he gave. Okay. And so we have to scratch our head. Arjuna said, I'm scratching my head. So there he said, no, I'm not an ordinary guy. But he didn't say, you have to accept whatever I say without any questions. He doesn't say that. No. He was just waiting for questions, it seems. And so some technique has to be taught. It can be taught in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Japa can be taught in 1 minute. Mantra can be given in 2 minutes, and then you chant your mantra. But here, something to be understood. People study in the ashram for years. People study the subject for years because the clarity can only improve. And the more you hear, the more you love it. And the more you love it, the more you understand it. So the journey becomes very fulfilling. And and it takes time sometimes. And so we need to give ourselves some time. And so, so therefore, this is the meaning of the word pariprashna, paritaha prashna. Means considering all, asking all the right questions, and with this attitude of pranipata, then he uses another word, sevaya. Sevaya. Seva tritiya, therefore sevaya. Okay, sevaya. So this also, Indian culture, we are all familiar with seva. You go to any ashram. So So 2 years I was there, and 2.5 years, and you see people from various backgrounds. 100 students are there listening to the talk. 3.5 year course is going on. It is not one day, it is not 1 week, it is not 1 month, it is not 6 months, it's not 1 year, it's 3.5 years. People have decided, I'm going to call it all off and come and sit here for 3.5 years. And you look around and you see people from all countries. Japanese are there, South Americans are there, Argentina, Chile, Brazil. And then you look around here, people are there from America, of course, several people are there. Indians are there from all states. Gujaratis are there, Bihari is there, many people from Maharashtra, everybody, people from different linguistic backgrounds are there. Okay, what about their accomplishments? You have people who have retired after being in big jobs are there, and there is a sannyasis are there, and there are people who are young people who hardly graduated, and they have not had any work experience, nothing. They are also sitting. Same subject, same 3 year course. Now tell me, what kind of comparison? Is there any room for comparison here? Oh, I'm this much, and he is not this. If a person does that, then pranipata is not there. Pranipata is not there. And when I went there, I already went 1.5 years late to the course. And because Swami said, come, you can come and study. And 1.5 years means this Ashtadhyayi, 1.5 years over. Ashtadhyayi, you can't just study just like that. So I had to start from all the alphabet. And there are all these people helping me out. People help me out. So extra classes I used to take, and they used to teach me. Praveen ji used to teach me. Ganapati ji used to teach me. Radhika ji used to teach me. So many people came. And of course, ashram is there. Ashram means seva. So cleaning this, cleaning that. Guru seva is always there. I will wash Guruji's clothes. I will clean his kutia. I will take care of food for him. I will take the food from the dining hall to the Guruji. That is my responsibility. Like that, we all share responsibilities. None of this is new to you, of course. You all also have been to ashram. You've done seva. Whether you attend a long course or you visit the ashram for one day, it doesn't matter. Seva is always there, ready to help. You can serve food if you want. Instead of standing in the line for food, you just go behind the counter and say, I'm going to serve. So we do it all the time. Nothing is new to us. So seva, yeah, seva bhava is so important. That seva to the guru is not because the guru needs the seva. Who needs the seva? Hey, the person who does the seva needs the seva. Seva is a means for antakarana shuddhi. You can underline that statement. Seva is a means for emotional growth. That is the right attitude. If you do seva, then magic will happen. Magic will happen. This is all we used to do in ashram. Either attend a class or study or do seva. These are the only three things we used to do. Nothing. In the night, in 20 minutes, I used to call my parents and check with them. That's all. These are the only three things we used to do. And so that's an advantage. Sometimes, some of our students have gone to Rishikesh Ashram. Satish ji and Sudhaji went for a week. And Vijay ji, I'm sure you'll get a chance next time. I think that didn't work out this time for you. But so that's the idea. You break off. You just take off a little bit. And it's outside the norm. And so you experiment and then you slowly get into the groove. And so pariprashnena sevaya. Okay. Then what? With these three things, if I have, then what will happen? Upadekshanti. Upadekshanti. They will give upadesha. They will teach you. They will teach you. Te is they. They will teach you what? Jnanam. Te jnanam upadekshanti. Right? They will teach you this knowledge. And who are they? They are jnaninaha. Jnaninaha. Jnaninaha means people who know. Jnanis, plural. Jnaninaha. And what kind of jnanis? They are tattvadarshina. Tattvadarshina. Just so that we don't confuse knowledge with so many subjects, knowledge is there. And these are tattvadarshis. So even here, knowledge, once we come to know, clarity keeps on improving. Clarity improves. And then the tattvadarshi is one who is crystal clear about this tattvam. Aham brahmasmi iti. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, father says, Uddalaka says, tells Shvetaketu, hey, just like this pot, every pot is just clay, and clay is sarvam, everything is sarvam in the world of pots. Likewise, Brahma is sarvam, sarvam khalvidam Brahma, and you are not different from that Brahma, therefore Tattvamasi, that Brahma you are, Shvetaketu, like that he says. So that clarity has to be there. And so this Tattvadarshi is one who has that clarity, who personifies this knowledge, who is an embodiment of this knowledge. Not simply saying because it is in the textbook, keep on reading, and then. How many teachers have experienced? They have kept on reading all these books. Already social studies is boring. Okay. And now the person who opens the books and reads the book. The child is, we are all young children, minds are all just active and ready to learn. And then the class just goes boring. And then children lose trust in the teachers, the children lose trust in the education system. Array, this education is of no use. And mathematics teacher used to read from the math textbook. Imagine reading a mathematics textbook. That is the karma of the children, I think. Right? So that's how it is. And we got many educators here. They're working hard to educate children and young children and college children and so forth. So the teacher is one who knows. So there is a shloka in Malavikagni Mitram, Kalidasas, One of the poetry is Malavika Mitram. There he says, Shlishta Kriya Kasyajit Atma Samstha. He says, there is somebody who knows the content very well, scholar in other words. He knows what's what. Kasyachit, somebody knows. And then there is another person, Sankrantihi Anyasya Vishesha Yukta. Another person may not know things well, but Sankrantihi, he is able to communicate. She is able to communicate well. There are people who are good communicators. And that person, there is one person who can communicate well. Then he says, Yasya Ubhayam Sadhu. The one who has both these attributes, one who knows the subject matter and one who has the capacity to communicate, because in this subject, communication is equally as important as the knowledge itself. And so, Yasya Ubhayam Sadhu, Saha Shikshakanam Dhuri Pratishthapayit Tvaya Pratishthapayitavyaha Eva. Tasya Dhuri Pratishthapayitavyaha Eva. So he says Shikshakanam Dhuri. So he is the greatest among all teachers. Because knowing the subject matter but inability to communicate. Problem. Communication ability is there, but mal nahi hai. See the all kinds of confusion, all kinds of cobwebs are there inside the head. Then problem. Then he communicates confusion, and everybody will go away saying, will have the same message they will have. This class was quite confusing. That's what they will say. And so he says that. So that kind of teacher we want here. And our teachers were all like that. Swamiji, Sanyas, Swamiji, Dayananda means an embodiment of that kind of clarity. And he used to tell us, I still remember, he used to say, teaching means what? Driving a student to a corner from where the student cannot but see. There's no choice, but you have to understand. That is the process of teaching, he used to say. And I used to bow down to him so much every time, because that was his strength. He's just, you can't even use words for something like that. And class after class, minute after minute, that's when I learned what teaching is. My God, how that 1 hour must be, how it must be spent. What is the responsibility of the teacher? There are people sitting and listening to you. Not one sentence must be uttered which is a waste of time, which takes the people away from what is to be done. And if some irrelevant thing, apparently irrelevant thing is said, it should be made relevant. There's a connection. Every joke, there is a connection. And so we don't sit here and then keep on talking about politics. No, that doesn't serve the purpose. So that's Swamiji is such this, and our great teachers, Swamiji and all other great teachers do that. And so then that teaching that comes out is called Upadesha. And here Krishna uses the word Upadekshanti, means they will teach. Future tense, Nrit Lakaraha. They will teach you. And Tadvidhi. All this is important. Tadvidhi means may you know that which is to be known. Tadvidhi. Tad, know that knowledge. Tad jnanam vidhi. Pranipatena, etc. By these attributes, you can gain that knowledge. And why all these things are important? When we apply to college, they don't say, do you have humility? You know, are you humble or not? They don't ask you that question. Looking for a job, are you humble or not? They may not ask you all these questions. Humility and all. Humility, in fact, in America and all, humility, they may laugh at you. You can't be too humble. You have to say, I did this, I did that. You got to speak out who you are. Otherwise, you won't get a job nowhere. Nothing. Oh, I am a very humble servant of you and all. If you go and say, they'll get confused. Who is this character? Huh? What are you talking? Humble servant. No humble servant and all that. So this is unique. Why it is unique? Because the topic is like that. The topic is like that. We already saw Paranchikani. Then in the same Kyonopanishad, the student tells, after all the teaching is over, he says, Yadi manyase suvedeti. He says, if you say that you have understood very well, suvedeti, yadi manyase suvedeti, nona vedeti vedacha. You have not understood at all. You say you have understood very well, you have really not understood at all. Okay, Girishji, correct? So, and then what? Nona vedeti vedacha. Yonas tadveda tadveda. Yonas tadveda. This statement of mine, if one who understands it, understands. One who understands what I said really knows. Okay? Nona vedeti vedacha. One who does not understand what I am talking about does not know also. Okay? This is how it is. And the subject is like that. And therefore, Shankaracharya, you will see it in one of the shlokas, he will comment, he will say, Asampradayavit murkhavat upekshaniyah. Asampradayavit murkhavat upekshaniyah. Somebody who says, I am self-taught. This Bhagavad Gita or whatever, and he says, this kind of person, you stay away. Murkhavat, consider them to be idiots. That is what Shankara says. Because this Shastram is like that. You are the whole. You are the whole is not an ordinary thing. And nobody gains anything out of it. The teacher is not going to benefit from this teaching. What the teacher is going to benefit? Tell me. What does the teacher get out of this? Nothing. Zero. All job is over for the teacher. Why should the teacher even teach? And so that is Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. What is it? Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. So just Karuna is there. And so I know it, so I'm happy to share it. That's the only benefit. A benefit at all, if at all you want to call it. Therefore, this teaching being so unique, the different set of attributes are called for, and Krishna lists those things. And Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya. So let's translate this shloka. Understand that, tad vidhi, understand that, within brackets, which is to be known. Understand that, which is to be known. Pranipatena, by prostrating, comma, by asking proper questions, pariprashnena, by asking proper questions, and by serving, within brackets, them, the wise people. So prostrating to the wise by asking proper questions and by serving them. Okay. Full stop. Those wise persons, jnaninaha, who have the vision of the truth, tattvadarshinaha, those wise persons who have the vision of the truth, comma, will teach you this, within brackets, this knowledge, will teach you this knowledge. Upadekshanti. Te jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha jnanam upadekshanti. So understand that which is to be known by prostrating to the wise, comma, by asking proper questions, comma, and within brackets and by serving, within brackets, them. Full stop. Those wise persons who have the vision of the truth, tattvadarshinaha, comma, will teach you this knowledge. Okay. Rukminiji, we're going to chant number 35. Where is Rukminiji? Oh, there she is. Okay. Yeah. You can unmute yourself. यद् ज्ञात्वा
यत् ज्ञात्वा
न पुनर्मोहम्
न पुनर्मोहम्
एवं यास्यसि
एवं यास्यसि
पाण्डव
पाण्डव
येन भूतानि
येन भूतानि
अशेषेण
अशेषेण
द्रक्ष्यसि
द्रक्ष्यति
आत्मन्यथो मयि
आत्मन्यतो मयि
यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम्
यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम्
एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव
एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव
येन भूतान्यशेषेण
येन भूतान्यशेषेण
द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि
द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि.
So now he's shifting gears from talking about the various yajnas and the jnana yajna and how to get jnana yajna. Now he is going to talk about phalam. What is, हमको इसका मतलब क्या है, हमको इसका इससे क्या होगा, what will I get out of all this, that he is going to talk about. Okay, so yat jnatva, yat jnanam, that knowledge, once you know, jnatva means having come to know, having learnt, having understood, punarmoham na yasyasi, punarmoham na yasyasi. Okay. Punarmoham na yasyasi. So moham is confusion, delusion. So what kind of delusion? Now you can guess what kind of delusion it is. So aham karta. Okay. I'm going to go to heaven and be happy there ever after. Okay. All these are moham only. So because Krishna doesn't say you will come and join me in heaven, he doesn't say anywhere. I've studied the Bhagavad Gita 2 or 3 times. He doesn't say anywhere. Okay. And you can validate later on. So once we finish this. Okay. He doesn't say all that. And then and I'm going to be happy by doing certain things, A, B, C, D. Okay. This permanent joy I'm going to get by doing this. These kinds of ideas that I have are all delusion. That's moha, pure moha, because karma cannot give eternal anything. Karma can give you anitya sukham, it can give you. Anitya sukham, it will give you happiness, no doubt. But anitya, it doesn't last long. And that is how it is. So aham akarta, aham abhokta. Aham karta is moha, aham bhokta is moha. So atma is neither karta nor bhokta, and that is the teaching here. And it goes further also. And then of course all relationships are there. Once I say I am a karta, then I become an individual that is separate from the rest of the world. And so I am an individual and the world is there, it's large, and of course there are people, there are relationships, everything comes from that moha only. Very interesting analysis. And then therefore I am this, I am that, I have accomplished all this, I am employer, I am employee, I am father, I am mother, I am daughter, I am son. All relationships are there. Relationships are there, but they are taken as absolutely real. That's what I mean. We are not saying there are no relationships. Relationships taken as absolutely real. That is why Shankara says in Nirvana Shatkam, what is it? Na mrityur me na shanka. Na mrityur me na shanka na jati bedam. Correct? Pita naiva, what does it say? Pita naiva, me naiva, mata na janma. Correct? Pita naiva, me mata naiva janma. So there is no death. Like that, he says. There is no Mata, there is no Pita. Then later on he will say, Na Guru Naiva Shishya. There is no Guru and there is no Shishya also. My God, this is too much. I surrendered to my Guru and just now, just few minutes ago, and now you are telling me there is no Guru and there is no Shishya. Yeah, that is the teaching. That is the beauty of this. The teacher can say, I am your teacher, and say, I am not your teacher also. That is the beauty of this. And you are a student and you are not a student also. So, therefore, this confusion that is there, that I had before, punaha moham na yasyasi. You will not gain that moham, that delusion anymore. Yad jnatva. Once you know this subject, once you know this topic, this Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, it will not come back. It will not come back. Now, what happens if I have a brain hemorrhage? If somebody goes into coma, this is a typical satsang question. If I go into coma, if somebody goes into coma, what happens? Won't they forget? See, I don't remember many things. In fact, Swamiji, you don't know about me. I'm a special character. I've forgotten everything that was taught in school. College, of course, you don't have to ask. I've forgotten everything, and that's why I'm here. In fact, because I've forgotten. I'm not employed. I'm not employable also, and so forgetting is so easy, Swamiji. And so this knowledge also I can forget if I study. I can forget. A, this knowledge does not depend on memory. Everything else depends on pratyaksha and anumana. So you see things and then you make apple is there, orange is there, everything you come to know. And then memory. So when I show an object, you immediately recognize the object. That is because you have a memory. When I show an object like this, you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what, even though it's reflecting light and it may be hard to see. That's why I'm rotating it. So just so you can see the three-dimensional view of this object. So that's just in case you are confused, you can see very clearly. And this alarm clock on top, there is this button to turn off the alarm also. So you know immediately you know the object. Why? Because you've seen it, you knew it, you know it, you have a memory of the object, and therefore with a coma the memory can be gone. Memory is not accessible. And so the person in coma, of course, is not going to respond. And then they come out of it, then what happens? Then faculties are gone for sometimes and they can't recognize anybody. They can't recognize anything. Amnesia is there, all these things are there. So all these possibilities are there. But with this knowledge, yeah, the person with those kinds of disabilities may not have the benefit of the Jivan Mukti, benefit of that knowledge, because the benefit comes by expressing that joy, and the ability to express the joy is not there. Yeah, that is acceptable. The body does not have the faculties to express that joy, but the punar moham na yasyasi, you will no longer be deluded. Hey Arjuna, that is this kind of knowledge. And you can do whatever you want, but you are not going to be confused about Atma. You are not going to be confused about who you are, who Ishvara is, and what this world is. What is the relationship between you and Ishvara and the world? There is no longer any moha, no confusion at all. Okay. So, then another part is there. Bhutani, yena bhutani asheshena trakshasi atmanyatho mayi. You will see that in the next class. So I just began a few verses where Krishna is going to talk about the benefit of this knowledge. Jnana phalam, starting from verse number 35. Okay, so we'll stop with that. Om swastik prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu kale vashyatu parjanyah prithvi sasya chalini deshoyam shobharahitah brahmanas santu nirbhayah Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashyantu मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।